Feanor here, finally back with another video. I planned on making this video quite a while back, but between work, some life stuff, personal projects other than this, and then this project taking so much longer than I thought it would, that's partially my fault. I wanted more data. And then it just took longer to compile it and make sure I got it all right. I was originally going to do it with like 200 to 250,000 materials, but as you can see from the video title, we reached 500,000. So just had to overdo it just to give you the highest numbers possible to really showcase the data and have it less questionable. And I'm pretty sure I did that here. As you'll see, it's essentially ironed out. I don't see arguments you can make for the myth that we are busting today. And I guess that's the primary thing here. There's multiple things we're going to be covering, but the primary thing is this myth that if you refine small amounts of things, like 10 at a time, 1 at a time, 100 at a time, there's so many different rumors about what's best to refine, what size refinements to do when you're doing various materials. So I've done both extremes. I refined half of all of the materials, one stack at a time, which is 10 materials at a time. And man, I do not recommend that to anybody. Anyone who's been doing that and thinking that it's been worthwhile, please stop after watching this. And then on the other end, I did 10,000, and that was fantastic. That went so quick. I'll show you all the data. We'll break it down. I'll also show you the money difference, like raw material cost compared to post-refinement cost. And it is better to sell them raw if you're selling materials. If you are not planning on using materials, then do it that way. I would also recommend, if you want to buy materials, buy them in their final form. Do not buy them raw. At least on US PCNA, that is the case. It might be different elsewhere. I know we've had fluctuations in the past, but this is usually how it is, because this is how I've locked it in for years. And then this test has reconfirmed that it's much more expensive to buy them raw and then refine them. I will show you all that data though. Let's go over it here. I'm going to have the videos playing, obviously, probably already doing that, of me doing some of the refining, but we are not sitting through it all, and you'll see why. I have the amount of time it took to refine a certain stack size. So let's get into it. Okay, so here is my refinement data tracker. And I've seen some other videos that touch on refinement and do large refinements and stuff, but I'm going to be giving you a little bit different info and more info in certain ways. And I'm cutting it down to size. I know why people, when they make these videos, want to make them super long, and it's because of how long it takes to gather these materials, do the process, do all the data, make the video and whatnot. But I know that that's not what you want to sit through. So we're just jumping straight into this. Just know, based on the clips that I've shown, I did all this refining. I put in the time necessary to get this data, and I accounted for the time as well. So you can trust me. If you want to do it yourself, then by all means do it. But I promise you it's going to be something similar to this. So I'm just going to read this out here to make this simple for myself. So every 10,000 mats, you should be able to expect around 8,500 white materials. That meaning raw to refined, like the rubidite or into the ingots. Okay. 170 green materials, 140 blue, 40 purple, and 60 yellow mats. This is not the exact amount you'll get. This is roughly the amount. As you'll see, the percentages fluctuate, but it's indifferent to the stack size. So the myth has been busted, I promise you. If there is no secret trick, this math should shake out relatively the same, with small variance under a percentage to account for probability. And the higher the sample size, the more you would see that result equalize beyond the probability variable. We are skipping the trait mats, as I've stated. It's far too annoying to track, and they're so cheap. I just didn't care. You can try to factor that if you want to. It's inconsequential. So as you see here, I have all of the breakdowns for how much of each material I had to start with, and their total value, which was a little bit above 33 million gold. And that is 515,000 mats in total. And I have all the breakdowns here. I put how much I was going to be doing per test. So this is the portion for 10,000 per refinement. So every time I click refine, it was doing 10,000 of each of these materials at a time. And I did 47.7 or 64.7 thousand rough ruby ash, 41.2 thousand rubidohide scraps. Rubidite ore, I did 73,000.9, and raw ancestral silk, 49,000.45, and lastly, platinum dust, 28,000.45. And that is the same for the 10 per. I did them exactly the same. There might be like a couple materials off. It doesn't matter. You can only do them in stacks of 10 or higher. So it is going to be equal. So for each of these, it says how many of these tests I was able to do. And you can see how much quicker it must have went because, for example, for the platinum dust, I was only doing 3 tests. Three times I clicked the button and it was done. And then for platinum dust, when doing 10 per, that was 2,845 tests. Even higher, 7,390 tests for rubidite ore. And if I look annoyed, I am, but this had to be done. I really wanted to do this and I wanted to do it large, but that took forever. Anyway, okay, scrolling down a little bit, we have starting refined mats. I just listed these here so it was known what I started with, just so I didn't lose track, because it is impossible for me to clear out how many mats I had. I wouldn't have anywhere to put them, and you can only pull out 200 at a time of each thing. And as you can see, I had a crap ton of mats. I always have. So I just had to account for those and do extra math every time I refine stuff to try to break stuff down. But here we get into the juicy stuff now. So the 10,000 per stack stats are right here in front of you. If you want the quick breakdown, they're all on the left, and they were similar to what they should be. So 85% for white, 17 for green, 14 for blue, 8 for purple, and 6 for yellow. Generally, yellow is going to be, because that's what we mostly care about, it's going to be under 6. But as you see with tempering alloy here, we got damn near close. It's 0.01 off. But for the most part, it's going to be rounding up to the 6 portion. So, you know, high 5 percentile ratings, which is why we rounded it up. But if you want, you can pause here and look at all the numbers and see how many I did and what it came out to if you want this for yourself, like if you really want to focus on it. I'll probably link this in the description box as well. But I think this covers this part, right? And it took 10 minutes I set up there after refining 257,000 materials. We scroll a little bit down and you see why this video made me hate my life a little bit. I refined these materials for 4.6 hours. You know, and once I was like breaking things down and everything, it was probably like 5 hours. So 5 hours to do this method instead of the other one, and the return rate is identical. There's a differential of about a percentage no matter how you refine. So if you do them in the smallest stack size or the largest stack size, you're always going to be in some kind of variance of like 1% or less. It's generally less than 1%. So this, it was important to disprove the myth, but it is a waste of time. So allow me to have wasted my time so you don't have to anymore. Please stop doing it. Don't listen to other YouTubers who claim that they've found it and it's 100 per. Like if you have a bunch of materials like I do, like I let them build up. Do not sit there and waste your time doing smaller stack sizes, please. So yeah, pause here if you want to, but this is all of the data for that. All right. And for the next part of the video, the other important data point is the amount of money that you lose by refining raw materials. Now, I'm not saying that you should sell your materials raw, because I don't. But do not do like I did and buy a ton of raw materials to then refine them. It is definitely better to just buy the materials you need in their final form. It is a loss on PCNA. I will say I can't say for sure that on every server it's going to be this way because prices fluctuate all over. But as far as I've known, that most servers, this is the case. This is the case, and it always has been. This is what I remembered, and I've just proven it here by losing myself about 4 million gold, almost exactly 4 million gold, because the total here is 29,327,000. And if we scroll back up to the top and remember, the raw cost when I put them all together was 33,325,000. So if I bought all of those, which I didn't, I farmed so much of this, but I bought a lot in the last couple of weeks. I was going to every trade post and buying out everything that was even at a slight discount, even like 4% up to 20%, maybe a little higher sometimes, but that's generally how much. This is a large waste of money to do it that way. Now, if you farm your own, of course, do not sell them raw. That's a very tedious amount of time. You're going to need the mats anyway. And you could sell better things as a big seller. Maybe if you're smaller, then do it. But just do not buy raw. And until the market fixes itself, like if it ever does, if it ever gets a little equalized, I would just skip buying raw ever. So I think that's kind of it. So hopefully you got what you needed from this. I've been wanting to break this. I've seen so many people talking about this myth still, and it's been so many years that I felt like it was debunked already. But clearly the myth is still very much alive, and I will be pushing this, and every time I see it, I'm going to link people to this video or tell them to go watch it. I will do self-plugging for this purpose alone. Get rid of this myth. Stop wasting people's time, please. And if you're a creator, don't. I know it can be, I know like it could be good clicks and you're making people think that you're giving them a good trick or something. It's not worth it. Maybe you didn't know, maybe you do know. Just don't do it anymore. Okay? I think that's it. Enough preaching. Enough preaching. I think I hopefully I helped. And sorry it took so long again. I'll make another video about something soon. I don't know how soon. Hope you liked it. Like, comment, and subscribe if you can. Helps me out. I can't believe I hit 300. I wish I could have said that sooner. I planned on saying it like the week after, but I appreciate all of you. So thanks a ton, and I'll see you next time.